values that the city has, and it will do nothing but increase the tax revenue here. And I think that the council should look favorably upon Carlos Matos with the experience that he's had here, with the role model that he has for our children, and with the type of tax revenue and development that he will bring to this city. So if the city chooses not to select a candidate like Carlos Matos, other communities will swipe him right up. It's not often that we have people like this that come and can offer the value with their roots in this community that reflect each and every member of this community. And I think that it's time that we make sure that we make Carlos Matos our appointment for Community and Development Director. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next person we have is Tom Myers.
Good evening, and my name is Tom Myers, and I reside at 550 Haverhill Street here in the city. And I just want to take a moment and focus on, I think, what is a fundamental difference between an appointed school committee and an elected body. And that is the issue of trust. And trust is fundamental in any human relationship. You know, Erik Erikson, in Healthy Personality, it was a piece he wrote in 1950 for the President of the United States on what was required in order to create healthy human beings. And he indicated that trust that you have in yourself and trust you have in others is the most critical element. And when, in fact, you look at having an appointed committee, what are you doing but you're really denying trust? Trust in whom? Trust in the citizens of this city. And that could not be more inauthentic. By having people elected, they are accountable to the citizens. The citizens of this city are capable of making choices in their own interest for themselves, for their family, for their schools. They don't need somebody else to tell them who to elect, or having an appointed committee that doesn't allow them to even have that opportunity to vote. And so I urge you to trust the citizens who elected you and to have an elected school committee. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, the next person we have is Jesse Guitar.
Hello, my name is Wangeshi Gitao. I am a resident of Lawrence. I live at 202B Bailey Street. I come again on behalf of my students, and I just want to say Domingo Morel wrote a book called Takeover that writes extensively about receivership, and he mentions that one of the easiest ways for communities of color, especially Black and Latino communities, to gain political power is through an elected school committee. So if we want our young people to be counselors, if we want them to be mayors, if we want them to be judges, sheriffs, even the coroner, they practice by running for school committee. If they can't run for school committee, they will not be able to run a campaign, they won't be able to have political power. So when we make the school committee majority appointed, we take away more than just representation, we take away so much power from our communities for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next person we have on the list is Mary Guerrero.
Hello, Mary Guerrero, 149 Abbott Street. I'm happy to be here tonight because I'm really interested in this. I feel like if the mayor can appoint a school committee, he can, the mayor, whoever it be, can have a conflict of interest because you're running the budget of the city and then you have your hands in the budget of the school system. It's two different systems. If the mayor wants to have a majority appointed board, even the people who are elected will become rubber stamps because they won't really be able to have any say if the majority are already run by the mayor of the city. So I disagree with this. I feel personally, this is just my opinion, that under receivership, we lost a lot of communication with our community. The community was neglected during the receivership. And now that the receivership is leaving, we need to reconnect to our community, not make it even worse. And there are examples of mayor-run city school board committees around the country, and they've proven that they don't work. Like one in Chicago talks about the lack of input from the community, and talks about how the control limits the public input and accountability. The board has been unresponsive to public opposition, to policies. So I mean, is that what we want for our city of Lawrence, that we have an appointed board that doesn't even respond to the citizens of the city? I don't think so.
All right, thank you. The next person we have is Patricia Flynn.
My name is Patricia Flynn, and I live at 106 Woodland Street, and I teach the Parkland School. I am born here in Lawrence and educated in Lawrence, and I've been teaching here most of my life. I taught at Head Start for 20 years, and I've been in Lawrence Public Schools for almost 15. I'm probably very upset with what is going on with our system right now. I have other citizens that are with Lawrence too. I believe that we should be in democracy, and I believe that we elected you as our officials, and I believe that the school committee should be elected officials as well. I believe that this actually is Teacher Appreciation Day today, and by showing that all of us are here, it's making a really big impact. I know, I'm sorry, but it means like a really big deal to us, and there's so many of us out there. I've given a lot of my life here. I've learned Spanish like pretty fluently, working in the community, giving back here. I just think that, you know, everybody should really take into account that there's even white people, that we accept our culture, everything. There's Hispanic people, there's African American people, there's everybody here. There's a big culture, there's big appreciations, there's differences, there's everything, but we all have to come together, and everybody has to work together. We elected you, we can elect our school committee, everybody can work together, and we can make Lawrence great again, and people can stop talking about us. We can be great, we can make our community great, we can make everything great again, like, and be proud, and not be embarrassed.
All right.
So I hope I covered everything, and I hope that we can all just get back on the same page again and be back to normal.
All right,
So, thanks.
thank you so much. The next person we have is Heather Silva.
Hi, I'm Heather Silva, resident at 26 Wedgewood Drive. I'll say very clearly right away, I strongly disagree with the home rule petition brought forth by the mayor's office to amend the composition of the Lawrence School Committee. I believe that the Lawrence School Committee should remain a fully elected body by the citizens of Lawrence. It is our democratic right to elect our local leaders. As a resident of this city, a former Lawrence Public Schools teacher, and a current teacher at the Greater Lawrence Technical School, it was so important to me that I got to cast my vote for our GLTS school committee. That meant a lot, and it should be no different for the Lawrence Public Schools school committee. The bodies that run our community schools should be accountable to and elected only by the community, not appointed by anyone to whom they might feel greater loyalty or accountability. Appointed positions can be breeding grounds for potential corruption and conflicts of interest, and our students deserve better. I also strongly believe that any conversations regarding a change in the composition of the school committee are frankly premature until local control is returned to our community. Right now, we should be focused only on a hopeful end of receivership and on developing a thorough plan to transition out of it. Receivership has disenfranchised our community, and it is time for us to focus on revitalizing it. We should not be entertaining any new ways to further consolidate power and further disregard community voice. Then, and only then, if any changes are going to be made to our governance structure, it should be made in full collaboration with our elected school committee from the very start, not being brought in later as an afterthought or trying to make things work to play catch up. Our school committee are elected by us, and they deserve to represent us and our voice. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person we have is Ashley Brito. Ashley Brito, please. Come on. Name and address for the record, please. Name and address for the record, please.
Ashley Brito, and I live in 156 Exchange Street. Thank you, Council. Good evening. My name is Ashley Brito, and I come here as a representative of my Gen Citizen class in Lawrence High School. Gen Citizen is a 10th grade project in which each class decides a problem in the community and finds ways to solve it. Our class issue being school receivership. Our policy goal is advocating towards keeping the elected school board. I've been a student at Lawrence Public Schools for 4 years, and as a student, I've seen how school receivership has affected not only students, but teachers. I see every day how school receivership has motivated many students and how much being heard as a community matters, especially something as important as our community's education. Students have been unmotivated because of these new policies that have been implemented towards those. Parents and teachers should be able to have a voice about what happens at the schools, as well as being informed about what will happen in the schools. Although some may argue that Lawrence citizens are not capable of being in charge of the schools, there's no one more capable of knowing what's wrong and how to fix it than the citizens. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today on an issue as important as this. Once again, I would like to say that keeping our school board is an important point for our city's democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person is Kimberly Brito. Like, come on, guys. Those are the rules, please. Kimberly Brito, please. Kimberly Brito. Beth Canton. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Kimberly Barry, and I'm the proud president of the Lawrence Teachers Union, almost 1,400 members strong. Tonight, I stand again before you to urge you to stand up for democracy in our schools and to vote to keep our elected school committee. Lawrence students, parents, educators, and residents know best how to provide our students with the tools they need to thrive. It's up to each of you to ensure the citizens of Lawrence regain their rights. I strongly urge you to vote against converting the existing fully elected school committee to a majority appointed school board, as that would just unjustly continue the pattern of state takeover. This would give the mayor the power to appoint his own school committee. Some LAE members are already appointed by the mayor. 2 appointed education boards in Lawrence take us even further away from the process of democracy for our students and our families. It would strip parents, caregivers, and our entire community of a voice in how our schools are run. Lawrence residents have just as much of a right to local democracy as our wealthy neighbors. We have just as much local knowledge and commitment to improve our schools. I urge you to support an elected school committee so that when state receivership ends, Lawrence voters will have the right to democracy, just like every other community in the Commonwealth. And they have been denied for too long. I hope I can count on you.
Thank you. With that said, the public participation is now closed. All these names has been submitted to the record. We go on top of the agenda. The next item we have is public hearings. Item 2724, which is Lower Street section to be designated for police department parking. Madam Clerk, please read the notice for the record.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 7th at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass., pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 in accordance with the recently revised City Council Rule 2. This meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and remotely to accommodate any participant with health considerations that prevents them from participating in person. To receive access codes for remote participation, please contact the city clerk at eileen.bernal@cityoflawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following new subparagraphs to Section 10.36.355 of the Municipal Code, Police Department Parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Lowell Street, south side, from a point 20 feet west of Amesbury Street to a point 420 feet west of Lowell Street. That should say Amesbury Street. 420 feet west of Amesbury Street, to be designated police personnel parking only. Lowell Street, north side, from a point 20 feet west of Amesbury Street to a point 420 feet west of Amesbury Street, to be designated police personnel parking only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Councilor, public hearing is now open. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak on item 2724?
Good evening, honorable members. Humayun Madi, 53 Chestnut Street. It is very important as a city, as a proud immigrant city, that we have the best police department and police officers. We design a specific area for the parking of the police officers that increase the safety and comfort for our police officers that dedicate their life, for serving our citizens. This creates a situation that police officers, while serving our citizens to create the best community and environment for our citizens, they have a safety and security for their cars being parked in a special elite place. As other cities around our Commonwealth, they doing that. The police officers are entitled to have a parking of their own. So we, the citizens, support such an ordinance. We support such a designation for the parking of a great police officers, their car, while serving our community. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? With that said, public, okay.
Name's Richard Russell, 34 Cross Street. The only question I have about this is there going to be provisions for the public to park there if they have business in the police station? I mean, you've taken the whole length of Lowell Street from Amesbury heading back towards the fire station. Is there going to be something, if I have to go down there to file a complaint or get information, am I going to be able to park? Or am I going to have to, will I be at the mercy of the meter maids? Just questions.
Anybody from the public that wishes to speak on item 7724? All right, with that said, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what's the motion?
Motion to approve.
Discussion.
There is a motion to approve, properly second discussion, Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. To the sponsor, I think what the previous city councilor said actually makes some sense with respect to parking, especially in the future. Once the new police station gets built, I'm presuming that the old police station is going to be demolished, although I'm not sure of that, but I would think so. Would that then be a place for parking, and would we then need to continue with this additional restrictions on the street?
Council President.
That's my question through you to the sponsor, and then maybe if the answer is yes, maybe we have a sunset clause on this until such time that the building is demolished and parking is placed there.
Thank you. Thank you. It's on? Okay. From my understanding, this is just for the period of construction. Like you, Councilor, I don't particularly know if that building is going to be demolished or not. I don't know if anyone else knows, but at least from my understanding, this is for the period of construction, and yes, it is also for people that need to conduct business in the police department. Other than that, that's all the information I have at the moment.
All right, Councilor LaPlante.
Sure, I would like to offer a friendly amendment that should
Councilor Blanc, quick question to you. Do you have any details when they went to the committee?
So no, this actually came up just because of Councilor Russell making the comment during the public comment period, and I just thought that was interesting, and I thought that after listening to what the councilor had to say, that it made some sense that maybe that we shouldn't be so restrictive in perpetuity, but rather we sunset it. So that was a point that Councilor Russell made tonight that I think that the committee did not consider. So I thought that was fantastic.
Council President.
I'm about to make a friendly amendment.
So
And a friendly amendment would be, if the sponsor would accept it, would be to have this restriction go through as presented, and that it be lifted or expire should there be parking where the current police station is.
So your moment. So the friendly amendment will be, once the old police department get demolished, if they park there, and then the restriction will be, everybody going to be able to park on Lowell Street.
We return it to public parking for anyone who wishes to park there, correct?
All right, that's a friendly
I
amendment.
accept.
Accepted. Okay, there's a friendly amendment being accepted. Councilor De Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Council President. There are about 10 or 12 spots inside the parking on the police station for people to go and conduct business. They are inside the actual station. So there are about 10 spots right
like
now,
4.
if I'm not miscounting, three in this corner. So they have about 8 to 10 spots inside. Once you go into the loop,
Let's say 8, yeah.
yeah, 8 to 10 spots in there now. I mean, do we need more than that? That would be the question. Do we need more than that of people to go and conduct business on an everyday basis? Every time that I've been in the police station, it's about 3 or 4 cars parked out there. I don't think there's an office where it's conduct business on an everyday, but I don't think people actually visit it as much as we think the police station, unless they're going to bail somebody out or anything else. But right now, as current, right now, they have 8 to 10 spots inside. That is not even on Lower Street. It's inside when you get into the police station. They have like 8 to 10 spots in there, and it's clearly marked for people that are going to conduct business in the police station.
So there is a friendly amendment being accepted. Any other councilors?
Council President,
Councilor Luzon.
can we keep in mind that there's businesses on Lower Street? Do they know that this is taking place, or can we include that? Because how are they going to do business?
On that section, Councilor Luzon, there is
Yeah, there's a business
one
right in the
business.
corner, right across from the gas station.
All right, there is a suggestion by, well, it's a comment from Councilor Luzon about local businesses. According to what I hear is that they also have parking spots available for them within their business. Is that enough? Madam Vice, Councilor Luzon, you want to go back and then come back to the discussion?
No, I'm okay.
Councilor Vice
Council
President Councilor Vice President Infante.
I have the map of that area pulled up currently on my phone. The business that Councilor Luzon, there are 2 businesses that Councilor Luzon is referring to, which is King Lobster Restaurant and 5 Stars Express Transportation, which both have parking lots for their businesses, according to what I see on Google Maps currently.
So currently, we have about 10 spots for people to conduct business, 8 to 10 spots to people to conduct business at the police station. In case that those spots get filled, so are people going to be able to park without getting ticket on Lower Street in case?
I'm going to be assuming yes, because it's within the jurisdiction of the police department. But to strengthen Councilor De Rosario's comments, I have been at the police department at different hours of the day and also early night, just stopping by, and I've too have never seen that the visitors parking lot full with cars and with 0 available parking.
I think that just to help the discussion within councilors, I think that it will be beneficial. Like if it is conducting business, the police department. In case I haven't seen a field, but I mean, it could be anything. That people might be able to park there for a period of time, like let's say 30 minutes, perhaps. Any other comments or questions, councilors? With that said, I'll call the questions. All those in favor with the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? The ayes have it. All right, next public hearing that we have is item 16124, which is the review and approve of the annual application to HOP for the Community Development Block Grant CDBGs, and for the estimate amount of $1,551,622, and the home grant in the estimate for the amount of $944.75. Susan Finn send this item to the City Council. With that said, Clerk, please read the notice for the record.
I don't have it. I apologize.
You don't have it yet?
I don't have it on my phone. I'm sure. Give me 1 second. So sorry.
No. Councilors, we're going to take another document while we find this public hearing noticed. We're going to committee report, Council of Plan. Are you ready for the ordinance committee? You can take a few items from there.
If there's no objection, document number 17122, the ordinance committee met and sent this item to the full council to order a public hearing that's adding the planning director's position under the Planning and Development Department, and to make that in the form of a motion.
There is a motion to order a public hearing, properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Mr. Chair from the ordinance committee, item 21023.
Yeah, this is the ordinance committee met on this item. This is a resolution in support of the Lawrence Public Schools financial audit by the state auditor. The ordinance committee sent this up with a 3-to-1 vote with a favorable recommendation, and to make that in the form of a motion.
There is a motion
Second.
on the table, properly second discussion. This is to audit the Lawrence Public Schools. Any discussion, councilors? Discussion. I hear none, so at this point I call the questions. For this to happen, the mayor needs to approve it as well, as far as I understand. That's correct?
The clerk can answer more definitively, but this is a resolution, like we send any resolutions.
Oh,
It has
this is
no
just a resolution.
binding.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, this is a resolution, an official opinion of the city of Lawrence in regard to getting the Lawrence Public School audit. With that said, no discussions. Councilor, I call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Roll call, please.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes, I'm sorry, hold on. Yes, Counselor Marmol is noted as absent. Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Counselor LaPlante?
No.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
And the president vote on the affirmative. Item 163B24. Mr. Chair from the ordinance committee.
But Mr. President, what was the final vote on that resolution?
The count was
7-1-1. 7 affirmative, 1 no, and 1 absent.
Document number 163B24. The ordinance committee met and sent this up with a favorable recommendation. To order a public hearing. This is a Lawrence High School civics education creating of an ordinance. This is a traffic flow at the high school. I make that in the form of a motion, and I will have discussion.
There is a motion on the table to send this item to order a public hearing, properly second discussion to order a public hearing. There is no discussion.
Discussion, yeah,
Let me know.
discussion. So very quickly, Council President,
Discussion.
you came to the ordinance
Councilor
committee.
LaPlante?
Thank you. You came to the ordinance committee and you suggested that had we not received all of the information, that you would have sent this back down to the ordinance committee. We received, well, one thing officially, that's from the engineer's office who had no problems with it. I have not seen from the police department, but I did get a phone call from the police department and they told me that they were in support of it as well. So as far as I'm concerned, I can't speak for my colleagues, but I can only speak for myself. I'll be supporting the ordering of the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Councilor LaPlante, for your input. As far as I understand, they met with the chief, with the police department, and the senior officers, I believe, from the police department. And I open the floor for you to express your experience on this project at the police department and how they actually move on this.
So hello, good afternoon.
Name and address for the record.
My name is Chantal Maldonado, and I'm gonna be talking about the chief. Well, we met in the chief. So we presented our slides to the chief of police, and he very much liked it. We explained to him that we did our measures around Crawford Street and Parish Road, from the width to the length all the way down, to see what would be the good measures and everything. He did suggest for the time to be 2 hours, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then in the afternoon from 2 to 4. And
So we also had Officer Officer Connor helped you. He gave us the things to measure.
we also talked to Officer Kano, and he gave us a measuring device to calculate how many inches each street is from the length to the width, so that we could divide Parish Road into a three-way when they get down to the high school. So one side could be where students and teachers are gonna park to go into the parking lot, and then one for the buses and one for drop off and pick up.
All right. Any question to the students from the civic project of the Lawrence High School?
Mr. President, I got just
Councilor LaPlante?
a request for the proponents and the sponsor of this, that they submit that, if they wouldn't mind, to the council. I want to make sure that what we adopt matches the agreements and what the advice was by the police department during that conversation. And if we had that in time for the next, whenever the public hearing is, we can match to make sure that that whatever is written, that we either amend it or adopt it as is. Thank you, Mr. President.
No problem. Any other questions from the councilors? This is to order public hearings. Anything that you will, the civic project would like to add?
I just wanted to say that we were under the impression that the engineer would be here today.
Yes.
But they did meet with the engineer as well as the police chief on that day.
I believe they were here.
They were here.
Yeah. They send information to the city council as they usually do. Usually they don't come over. They send us the information on the report, and the report is in the affirmative. Yep. Councilors, any questions on regard to the civic project, in regard to the traffic issues around the Lawrence High School?
Council President?
Councilor Infante. Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Through you, Council President. I just have a quick comment. I did follow up with the police department when I found out that you guys were going to visit, and they spoke very highly about you guys in your presentation, so you should be very proud in making a difference in your city, so congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the councilors? This is to order a public hearing. All right, Madam Clerk, do you, could we make sure that we have this public hearing published for the next meeting?
Yes, for the 21st.
For the 21st? All right, councilors, at this time, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 21224, Mr. Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Ordinance Committee met on this item, which is the disclosure of a conflict by a city employee, Maria Alexandra Halloran. The committee sent this up with the full council with a favorable recommendation, and that's the motion.
Second.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion. Any discussions? At this time, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? The ayes have it. Mr. Chair from the Ordinance Committee, item 21424. Installed on the ground.
I'm looking it up. So document 21420, install an underground conduit at Medford Street near Oxford Street. The Ordinance Committee sent this up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing and make that in the form of a motion.
Motion on the table, properly second discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 21624, Mr. Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Ordinance Committee met on 21624, which is the annual Community Resource Fair, September 7th, 2024, in the Campanion Common. This was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and to make that, and by the way, a rain date of 9/14/2024, which was cleared by the Recreation Department, and to make that in the form of a motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion. I hear none, so this time I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 21824.
Ordinance Committee met on this item, which is a 3 days of worship, August 23rd, 24th, 25th, 2024 at O'Neill Park. This was amended at the Ordinance Committee. It was moved from the Campanion Common. So I make, the committee reports to send this up to the full council with favorable recommendation, and I make that in the form of a motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly the second discussion. The applicant, I guess they're here, so they wish to speak. Name and address for the record, please.
Yep, Moraima Martinez. I live in Nashua, 47B Kawa Road, but the church that we pastor is Iglesia Pentecostal, Sanando los Quebrantados de Corazón, is 360 Merrimack Street here in Lawrence. And yes, we're here for the event, the 3 days of worship, for August 23rd, 24th, and 25th from 2 to 8 p.m. It was originally in O'Neill Park, and we do have the email that was a confirmation that it was moved now to the, I don't know how to say it, Common Park. So that's why we're here. It's a worship, it's a 3 days of worship to bring the word of God and to listen to music and just unite with the community and share love and prayers, and that's why we're here.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to this item or the changes of this item? At this time, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 21924, Mr. Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Ordinance Committee met on this item, which is Hoops for Christ basketball tournament on May 25th, 2024 at the O'Connell Basketball Court. This was sent up to the full council with favorable recommendation, and make that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion on the table, properly second discussion. I hear none. At this time, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We're going back to the top of the agenda on public hearings. We have public hearing 11624, which is the review and approval of the annual application to HUB for the Community Development Block Grant CDBGs, and for the estimate amount of $1,551,622, and home grants for the estimate amount of $944.75. Madam Clerk, please read the notice for the record.
Council President.
Mr. Vice President Infante.
Thank you. I make a motion to waive the preamble.
There is a motion to waive the preamble.
Council President, I don't agree with that.
Second.
I'll take, well, thank you very much. I retract my statement. Thank you.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion. I hear no discussion. At this time, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Madam Clerk.
The purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed annual action plan for fiscal year 2025 for the city of Lawrence, Mass. As follows: the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, in the estimated amount of $1,551,622, and home grant in the estimated amount of $944,075. A copy of the proposed FY 2025 HUD Annual Action Plan and proposed budgets referenced herein may be examined, viewed, and copied at the Office of Planning and Development, 360 Merrimack Street, Entrance K, Unit 270, Lawrence, Mass., and at the Office of the City Clerk, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass., during normal business hours, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30, Tuesdays, 8:30 to 7, and Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Documents are also available on the city's website at www.cityoflawrence.com. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Council, public hearing is now open. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Name and address for the record.
Good evening, Councilors. Sue Fink. I work in the Community Development Department. I reside at 6 Rockwood Lane. When I appeared before Budget and Finance, we only had estimated grant allocations. Today, HUD announced the actual allocation, so I'd like to review the budget using the actual numbers that we will be providing to HUD. On CDBG, we are receiving $1,620,794. This is a
Councilors, the numbers that she's referencing is on a loose piece of paper that should be each of your places. It looks like this. So you have to follow what she's speaking of. Right, yep, right behind that.
The very last one.
Right behind that. You have it.
Yeah, just keep on going for the record.
So this is a 5% increase over the funding we received for FY24. For home funds, we are receiving $830,214. That is a 12% decrease over what we received in FY24. The CDBG budget breaks down as follows. Under park improvements, $450,000. Infrastructure improvements, $300,000. Homeless housing assistant match, $10,000. CDBG homeowner rehabilitation, $273,159. Section 108 loan payment for the Gateway, $263,477. Administrative, subject to the 20% cap, is $324,158. Under the home grant, we have the Chodo project set aside, which is a 15% statutory requirement, $124,532. Housing development projects, $637,661. And the 10% administrative cap of $83,021. I wanted to make sure that that budget was read into the record. Thank you.
All right, public hearing is still open. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak? At this time, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what's the motion?
Motion to approve?
There is a motion to approve, properly second. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you, Council President. Earlier today, I received a communication from a constituent of mine that I'd like to read into the record. Louis Robles at 183 Abbott Street. Good evening, City Council members. Item 16124 regarding the CDBG grant, I would like to suggest that part of the funds be used for fixing the issue of flooding in the city. One area of interest is Market Street with Parker under the bridge. On item 271, that's it for that one. So I just want to make sure that's part of the record that constituent has asked that there be some money set aside for that. I'm sure there's a good reason as to why it can or can't be. So thank you, Council President.
Councilor, I would respectfully request if you send me a copy of that.
My pleasure. Will do.
Councilors, any other questions? Am I missing any other documentation? I think that we're missing something here. Usually we have 10% of the CDBG's funds going to the community nonprofit organizations from the city, and I don't see the documents. Do you guys have that?
We did not run an RFP process this year.
So is that a requirement?
No,
It's not required
it's
to?
not required, no.
Well, so far, that's what I thought always, that it was a requirement. So we have no matching from, for the different organizations throughout the city. All right, councilors, any questions, concerns, or comments on this item? I hear none, so at this point, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Any noes? I would like to vote present on this. Roll call, please.
Counselor Levy.
Here.
Counselor LaPlante.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Santiago.
No.
Counselor Marmal is noted as absent. Counselor Reyes. Yes. Counsel Vice President Infante.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
Present. All right, motion carries. Next item, thank you. Next item on the agenda is,
I never called the roll for Councilors Reyes and Levy.
do you want to call it? All right, let's call the roll call again because it was a little misplaced there.
Counselor Levy
Present.
and Counselor Reyes. Yes. This is the present. No, I'm calling the roll for that you hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there roll calls for,
Counselor Luzon and Counselor Levy. I did not count you when I called the roll earlier in the evening. So Counselor Reyes, you were here and I apologize. That's my mistake. Counselor Levy has noted that she's present. Counselor Luzon.
Present.
Thank you. Thank you both. And my apologies.
all right, councilors. We're going on top of the agenda, communication from the mayor, city officials, there is none. Committee report, we're going to the Budget and Finance Committee, Madam Chair, Vice President Infante from the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you.
Item 383B23.
Thank you, Council President. Item 383B-23, the appropriation transfer in the amount of $450,000 among city departments from the ARPA/free cash allocations, funds allocated under document number 411B-22. The committee recommended to withdraw this item, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion to withdraw. Properly second discussion.
Discussion.
Madam Claire?
Just in looking at the document from my notes, I had the document back in November of 2023 as a $450,000 allocation. I had it split at that time, that $150,000 was going to planning and development and $300,000 was going to the police department for PSN, I don't know, P and NS. I have a vote back in November that we approved the $150,000 to planning and development already. So I just want to, are we, like the 383A already took off $150,000 of this, so what's left, it was the 300 that was going to police. So there's only 300 to, under this document, there's 300,000, because we
So
already,
withdraw.
so we're withdrawing just the 300 because the other one was already approved?
It just be.
Okay.
That's just me. All right, just to be clear, item B of 103, item of 283B is just the 300,000 that we were drawing. Any questions or concern or comments on this item?
President.
Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Just quickly, we did have financial manager Sue Fink with us that day, and she did state that the reason that they're looking to withdraw this is because the item, that amount is no longer needed.
All right.
Is Sue Fink still here? Thank you. We have clarification for the clerk, so.
So it is just the $300,000 we need to withdraw, that is correct.
Just the 300,000.
Yeah, originally, councilors, that was appropriated for the neighborhood safety initiative to the police department. So that portion of the funds is going to be withdrawn. Any questions or comments? At this time, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 423, Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Item 400-23, the appropriation transfer in the amount of $2,235,000 among city departments via the ARPA/free cash allocations, funds allocated under doc number 411B-22. This item is also recommended by the committee for to be withdrawn, and I make that as a form of motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second, to withdraw item, which, Madam Vice Chair, this means that this one is going to go back to the general fund or to the free cash?
Correct. It's no longer needed, yep.
All right. Properly second, any questions or comments? At this point, I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right.
Council President, at this point, I ask that Councilor Luzon recuses herself for the next item.
So those are the items that are our committee. We need to pull it off committee.
Council President and councilors, through you, Council President. There is a mistake on the agenda. Item 76A-24, resolution amending and rescinding the reimbursement requirement for the Creating a Thriving Lawrence grant awardees in the amount of $400,000 to the Federación Hispana de Comerciantes, Inc. Actually, it should not be on the agenda because we did not have quorum for the second time. So I ask Council President that we consider pulling this out of committee because this is the third time we have spoken about it in the Budget and Finance Committee, and all three times I did not have quorum. But this is fully discussed.
So at this point, councilors, I entertain a motion to suspend the rules to pull this item 76A-24 as well as 76B-24, pull it off committee to be discussed at this level. There is an item, there is a motion on the table to pull it off committee.
Second.
Properly second to suspend the rule to pull it off committee. Properly second discussion, Councilor Loplan.
Thank you very much. This vote actually is a little troubling, just because I was here that evening and the vote was actually to send it up to the full council, and so that's what happened that evening.
Point of clarification.
Point of clarification.
Thank you. So we did, I was under the impression that we could take the vote because the council president was there to make a quorum. So we did, I passed the gavel to the vice chair of the committee. A few days later, the city attorney did contact me and told me that that motion was not allowed. So this item was to remain at the Budget and Finance Committee level, which is why it should not be, it shouldn't have been in the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Or it should be on the agenda as an old business.
As an old business.
It wasn't copied on that correspondence.
Sure. So.
I also, do I still have the floor, Council President?
Give me 1 second just to clarify from this. The intent of the item being on the Budget and Finance Committee met the qualification of publishing it for the purpose of removing it out of committee. But if there is any other objection to it, we will entertain any objection. Just to be fair to the process. Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you. So the Council Vice President did reference a communication from City Attorney, and I think that the wise thing to do is what this Council Vice President is suggesting, that according to the City Attorney, that's what should be due to cure it. But it also is important that we all understand the ground rules of when the Council President is the acting mayor. And according to the City Attorney, on this or any other matter, this was a comment regarding the council president who was acting mayor. As acting mayor, your presence was just for quorum at the committees. You actively participate in the discussion and at times seem to lead the discussions on the items discussed. The mayor is not allowed to participate and direct a city council subcommittee. This should be avoided in the future. He also went on to talk about voting and the fact that Councilor Luzon did recuse herself from that, and so I think that what we're doing now will take care of that. I will have the third point when we have the discussion at the full council level, because I do think it's important that the council understand the city attorney's position. Thank you.
I was not included on that communication, so I'm not aware of that, but I take your point as good as bad.
Council President, did you not receive this email from the city attorney?
I did not. That's why I'm extremely upset, but that's part of the process as well. Items 76B and 24 and
Where's
item
76A?
76A are the resolution to amend receiving of the reimbursement requirement for the Creating Driven Lawrence grant aware of $400,000, as well as that of the $150,000 going to the three different organizations that we just discussed. Councilors, you wishes to remove, to pull it off committee, or you wishes to keep it at the committee level?
Council President, I make a motion to.
There is a motion on the table and properly second.
So can we vote?
Then the discussion is now, it's been open. Any other comments or questions? At this time, Councilor Levy. So we don't have, we have it at the committee. Now we are actually taking a vote to pull it off committee if the council desire.
Council President,
This is in regard to pull it off committee or to respond to Ana Levy?
both.
Well, we're gonna entertain the motion to pull it off committee first.
So can I respond to Councilor Levy?
It's not in order because she just wanted it to send it back and the item is not here.
Council President.
So it's not in order. So at this time, councilors, I'll call the questions to pull it off committee. We require 6 votes for this. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
No.
Roll call, please. Roll call, please.
Counselor Levy? No. Counselor LaPlante?
No.
Counselor Luzon has abstained. Counselor Del Rosario?
No.
Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Marmol is noted as absent. Counselor Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Vice President?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes, what's the count?
3 noes, 4 yeses, and abstention and absence.
Motion fails, so the items remain at the committee level. Item 20424, Madam Chair from the Madam Vice President Infante from the Budget and Finance Committee.
Item 204-24, payment of prior year invoice in the amount of $468 with 50 cents for the United Construction and Forestry LLC. Was brought to us by the airport manager, Francisco Urena, and the committee voted in favor, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table to pay $468.50. Can you hear a second?
Second.
Properly second, discussions? There is no discussion at this point. I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 20524, Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 205-24, the amendment to the non-union classification plan to add Assistant Commissioner of Health Code Services to grade D was brought to us, and the committee sent this up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table. Can you hear a second, councilors? Properly second, discussion. At this time, I hear no questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Madam Vice Chair Infante.
Item 206-24, the authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $42,552 from the Merrimack Valley Renewal Fund from the Attorney General's office is being brought up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table. Properly second, discussion, councilors. I hear no discussion. At this time, I call the question. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 207-24.
Item 207-24, the authorization to expend donated funds in the amount of $5,000 from the Hafner's It Kicks Foundation is being brought up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussions. Councilors, no questions? At this time, I call the question. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 208-24.
Item 208-24, the authorization to expend grant funds in the amount of $22,000 from the Library Initiative for Teens and Tweens from the Boston Foundation is being brought up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
We had 3 items from the library. I listened to the discussion during the Budget and Finance Committee meeting, and I was heartened to hear the support that the library is receiving. This is an institution that needs some of the support from this council and other elected officials, and I'm heartened to hear that the way that the committee responded to not only to these 3 items, but also to the fact that we have other issues of great importance to make sure that our library becomes a vibrant, full, and functional part of our city's fabric. And I want to applaud the committee for that support, and I also support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Think of Mr. LaPlante, Councilor LaPlante. Any other questions in regard to this item? Any comments? Do you want to say something?
I would, thank you.
All right, you have the floor.
I will
Name
keep
and
it
address
very
for the
simple
record.
because I will respect your time. Thank you,
No, don't
Council
worry
President
about it.
Giovanni
It's your
Rodriguez.
time.
Oh, well. My time is your time. My name is Janella Brew. I'm the director of the Lawrence Public Library. I want to thank you, Mark LaPlante, for bringing such a precedent issue to the city of Lawrence. Currently, we're in our almost the second year of our waiver. A lot of people do not know what that is. I will have a formulated sheet here with my administration team that's willing to pass that out to you. I will leave that to discretion of not only you studying it, it will also be available in a public notice at lawrencepl.org. Before I start, my name is Janella Abreu, Lawrence Public Library. I'm at 59 Chippy Lane, Methuen. I have my administrative team here because it's important for them, part of the staff development. Oh, he's translating. Oh. Yo puedo hablar español también y puedo traducir para las personas que nos están escuchando el día de hoy, pero lo importante es que él lo está haciendo mejor que yo lo voy a hacer hoy. Gracias. So I will slow down for this moment. I will say one of the things that I think that is important, and thank you, Mark LaPlante, for sharing that, is that currently our library is going on to their 4th year of the city waiver. A lot of people have asked me what exactly is that. I myself, currently with the administration of today, has realized what that is. I cannot say this is the administration that we are currently facing, which is currently Mayor Brian DePena's office and myself. We encumbered this from previous administrators, and so much so, it goes as back as almost 2 decades, which we're talking about Michael Sullivan's administration, William Antigua's, Dan Rivera, Kendra Vasquez, and so on. It is now my duty to make sure that we don't face the same circumstances. So let me simplify what the decertification process is and why we do our due diligence to apply for grants and donations constantly. We do not get appropriatedly funded by the municipality. This is not news to a lot of the council members that are here today who have run in previous administrations. This is just news to me. And what I would like to do today is to offer solutions. And that's what we're doing. In the middle of this, we're actually applying currently for a lot of grants. One, considering the Attorney General Office grant, which is up to a considerable amount of $1.5 million, which will allow us to open the South Lawrence branch. It is important that I share that, and thank you for the constituents of that, that area. But I think it's important to realize we all face it. Traffic in the South Lawrence area is in precedence, okay? South Lawrence is an area that was attacked not only by what we have with the gas explosion, but also an opportunity for most of the biggest schools that are under receivership. And most importantly, we need a library there. We have Lawrence Catholic Academy, which received over $30 million in revenues and foundations and donations. Why not us? We're an encumbrance of their property, and we're willing to open again. So what I'm doing with this is just to give the city a quick synopsis of what is going to happen with our library. If we do not stand up today
and get ourselves out of the waiver. And this is simple. When you cross Parker Street and you look at the South Lawrence branch and you thought of what could be, that will happen in our main branch in Lawrence if we do not act now. And that is my answer to you. There's a lot of pieces involved, and I have a piece of document that will simplify the process for you today as our delegated and voted council. However, it'll also be available on our social media platform and considering our website. It is important to stand up now. This is one of the last free democratic space we have available. All of you, if not every one of you, have considered the library as a resource center. We are the #1 nonprofit democratic space that the city has encumbered. And if we look at what has happened at the South Lawrence branch, again, something that was bestowed upon my administration and myself, we are looking for resolution, and that comes with coming before you today, explaining to you the situation, and finding a resolution. I will not take more of your time, but I ask you to dig deeper. And you have places you can go. We have the Massachusetts Board of Library Consortium, the State of Massachusetts, and the Merrimack Valley Library Consortium, and more importantly, you have the Lawrence Public Library willing to answer these questions for you.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, councilors, what I will suggest is that we add for our next meeting an item to the agenda to probably be sent to the committee of the whole to further discuss this issue that we face in the future.
Thank you, sir. But I would furthermore, in order to move on with our proceedings, I would like to move forward and approve the 3 grants that we have in front of you today, including the donation.
Of course. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. All right, councilors, any questions, discussion on this item? At this time, councilors, I'll call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council President, item 220-24, the confirmation of appointment of Carlos Matos as Director of Planning and Development is being brought up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second. Councilors, we have a motion to that came out of committee, which is to approve that Mr. Carlos Matos as the Director of the Planning and Development Department. Properly second discussion. Discussion. Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Through you, Council President. There was an item, I actually don't have it with me, but it was given to me by our confidential secretary right before the personnel meeting. And it was a letter of support for Carlos Matos from our state representative Estela Reyes, which the discussions were very in-depth, so I actually forgot to mention this and read this at the personnel committee level, but it was delivered to our secretary, and the secretary did present it to me before the meeting. So I just wanted to make sure that's on the record.
All right, councilors, any other questions? Councilor LaPlante?
Thank you. So I just have a couple of questions regarding process. We have a lot of information in our packet, and I had a chance to listen to the Personnel Committee discussion regarding this question, and one of the questions that was not asked, and I don't see it in our packet, this was related to the 2.047070. I'll repeat that again, 2.040070. And that is that when the application gets sent down to the council, that with it is included the list of finalists. I didn't hear a question asked regarding that, and I was wondering, has there been any substantive information or documentation that provides for us a list of finalists for the position? Council President.
Sure. We have the CAFO here in front of us. He will be able to answer.
I think I can answer that
Oh, okay,
question,
here we go.
Counselor. There was only one finalist for the position. It was Carlos Matos, and he obviously was well qualified. So there were no other finalists that applied for this position.
Thank you. So
Councilor LaPlante.
let me just go to the next question, which I think will tie in, I think. Again, if this was asked, I missed it. Where exactly was the job application posted? Where, if you were a job seeker, would you see the job application?
I believe we posted it on the city's website. I'm not sure if we posted it anywhere else. I just know it was on the city's website.
So just by our charter, excuse me, by our ordinance, not our charter, by our ordinance, a full and complete, a copy of the contract, sorry, one more time. A copy of the advertisement for said position with the dates of publication and the names of all publications said advertisement appeared, together with a description of any other postings of the position. So my concern is if all we have done for a position as important as this is just post it on the city's website, my question is are we doing all that we can do to really try to attract the very first person? This has nothing at all to do with Councilor Carlos Matos. It has everything to do with the process and making sure that the mayor or the personnel committee, personnel department has an incredibly rich and strong pool of candidates, and that the selection would be difficult to make. That's the goal, because we have so many excellent and fantastic applications, applicants. And
Councilor LaPlante.
if I could just finish my point here, and I'll relinquish. My concern here is that if we just post it on the city's website, are we really doing all that we can to really try to get some good candidates?
The requirement is to post it for 10 days, and it was posted for 10 days at the city website.
And personnel director, I'm not saying anything was done unlawfully. I mean, if we really want to do it precisely, we need to get that sent down. Was it part of our packet?
Yes.
The job description was part of your
So
package.
and that was printed in the city's webpage. So technically that met it, but I think that
Councilor
we're.
LaPlante,
Can I finish my point?
No, let me clarify my point. So you're talking through me, right? Thank you.
Well, I like
So
not to be interrupted when I'm talking to you.
No, because I have the answer. Before we actually received the application, we went through that section of the ordinance, and I made sure that the city clerk received all that information, just like you asking.
Fantastic. But the point that I'm making persists, which is this. Are we doing all that we can to try to get the best qualified or get the best candidates we can for the city? And if all that we're relying on is the webpage of our city, is that enough? As a city official and as a city leader on a position that is important, a department head's position, this is a key critical position. And again, I've gotten no quarrel with Carlos, but I do want to make sure that we're getting a healthy. So that's my point. And I'm not getting the sense that that's what's happened. Thank you.
Well, if I can explain.
No problem.
We did
Mr.
advertise
Caffo.
Excuse me.
Mr. Caffo, you might respond.
Thank you. We did advertise on the website, and oftentimes when we don't get enough applicants, we have to search other methods to advertise. Or in this case, we had a person who's very well qualified, so we didn't go that extra step. Wasn't necessary, in other words.
I would humbly,
Councilor
I respect that. I respect that response. I think as we represent individuals in our city, I think when I say we, I mean the people that I represent, I think we expect and deserve a little bit more than, we found one, we're all set. I think that we never know what's out there until we actually put out a vibrant and full. I hate to talk about the superintendent, I hate to talk about the other things, but there is a way when you're really earnest about really trying to find a really good candidate. I don't mean you don't need to have a consultant firm come in like they're doing for the superintendent. I mean, they're going way out there, right? That's way out there. I don't think we've got to do that, but I do think that we need to post some of these positions in places where other planning directors would look, I haven't been in the job market for a few years, so I don't know all the various places that you could actually put a job. There's places like Indeed and other kind of places, but they're, back in the day, you would, if you wanted to get somebody, you would put something in MMA, where every city official would look for something. And I realize there's some backstories there regarding costs, and that's real. But I mean, but that's an example of places that we would put things if we're really trying to bring the best qualified people into our city government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor LaPlante. Any other councilors who would like to ask questions in regard to this item?
Council President.
Councilor Infante.
Thank you. Just a point. During at the subcommittee level, Councilor Levy's motion to send it up with a favorable recommendation did come with a clause, and it was pending information received that there was a ending of Mr. Matos' consultant work with the city of Lawrence before his transition to acting director. And the city attorney did provide that information. It's on everyone's table. So there is a series of emails here that is documented and states the dates of when that was ended, when the acting position began, and what I'm seeing here, just briefly, these communications started the end of February, so February 27th. So we do have that, and I just remembered about that clause now, so I want to make sure that that's covered.
All right, that's been submitted for the record.
Sorry, Council President.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
So it could be on the record, thank you to Madam Clerk for pointing it out. The consultant work contract ended exactly on February 29th of 2024.
All right, it's been submitted for the
And
record that the contract for Mr. Matos and his agency was done with the City of Lawrence on February 29th.
And the start date of Carlos Matos' acting employment is March 1st of 2024.
All right, that's been submitted to the record. Councilors, any other questions for the process, or perhaps to the candidates?
Through you, Council President.
Councilor Luzon.
In the last meeting, we mentioned a reference letter. And we also asked about his previous job. So I just want to know if we got any of them, because just for the record, all the reference that Mr. Matos is providing are city employees, including Mayor Brian De Peña, and also now we have State Rep Estela Reyes with another letter of support. So I don't see nowhere a letter of references from a previous employee, which is kind of abnormal.
That was requested through a vote, or it was just part of the conversation?
It was part of the conversation, Council President.
All right. All right, councilors, any other questions? Councilor Luzon, do you have any other questions? I guess that information was, we don't have any. Any other questions? Any other councilors before I go to the second round? All right, I go to the second round. Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you. So I think if we have to vote on this tonight. If we don't vote on this tonight, per our charter, I believe, the nominee automatically takes the position within 30 days, and I think we're running closer to 38. So we need to vote. Table this matter. We need to vote.
Councilor LaPlante.
I'm so sorry, Council President.
I mean, the conversation is through me. I want to clarify a few things before you continue. We can vote on the item. If we table it, on the 10th, it will be automatically appointment. If we withdraw without prejudice, that means that the administration can submit tomorrow again to go back to committee. So that's another option. It's not just tabling, denying it, or approving it. We have other things, other options.
So I just want to make sure that we're clear. So when I have the floor and I'm making a comment, because I'm talking directly with you, out of courtesy, wouldn't you want to let me finish my statement first, and then, if we're having a conversation, you wouldn't interrupt me in a conversation?
I'm not
I would not.
interrupting you.
I would not interrupt you in a conversation.
No, but if the conversation is through the council president, unfortunately.
Talking directly to you and
Thank
through
you.
you to the rest, and that's just a common courtesy.
Yes, it's a common courtesy, but I want to make sure that the councilors know the options. You actually say that we cannot table. If we table, that means that we actually it's been approved by the 10th, or we have until the 10th. In 2 days, we can have a special meeting and continue the conversation. Those are the options that the councilor have.
And
It's not just what you are saying.
And my last point, Council President, I'm not denying the fact that you may be correct on this, but just a courtesy to let me finish my thought and my sentence. And then you could clarify, and you could say, Councilor LaPlante, you're right up until here. As a matter of fact, you're a little wrong on this, and then clarify. But to interrupt me in the middle, it just takes away from the deliberation a little bit. And I think we're better than that.
All right.
So-
In the meantime, Councilor LaPlante, the conversation is through the president. Keep that in mind based on Section 7. Okay, Rule 7 of the charter, of our own rules. So you may continue.
I'm well aware of the charter, but I appreciate the reminder.
Thank you.
So, I don't know where, the charter says has disposition. I think those are the magic words. We need to have some sort of disposition on the matter. If we withdraw, that's a disposition on the matter. This language without prejudice, if you can find that language in our rules without prejudice anywhere, or even in your Roberts rules, if you could find that anywhere, I'd be curious to see it, because I don't think there's any legal standing to something that we do without prejudice. It might make us feel good, but I don't think there's any standing. Having said that, your greater point I agree with. I think that if we do withdraw it, then that is a final disposition. And my point that I'm taking the floor is, I would like to either do a withdrawal or no, whatever it takes. And then I would encourage Councilor Matos to apply to whatever. I don't want him to go away, because I do want him to be, he clearly is a candidate that's qualified, but I do want us to see who else is out there that has an interest in leading our city in this department. Thank you.
All right, councilors, we're still with the discussion here. We have an item 22024, which is the confirmation of appointment of Carlos Mato as the Director of Planning and Development. Anybody from the mayor's office that wishes to speak on this? Is anybody would like to hear the
Council
this Octavian Spanner is online, and he probably would like to say something about it. He just raised his hand.
Council President?
Mr. Spanner?
Yes, Council President, good evening. Good evening, councilors. I think on behalf of, I'm speaking on behalf of the mayor, this position, as our CAFO indicated, has been properly posted. Personally, I have been working with Carlos, and his work has been outstanding in regards to not only the help at OPD, but also other works that are involved in the city. His level of expertise is not, I won't say he would be the only person that would have it, but right now it's an exceptional job that Carlos is doing. Professionally, he has demonstrated very much his capabilities and skills, his knowledge of the work in terms of planning, in terms of economic development, and also community development. And we trust and believe that he's the right candidate for to be holding this position. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Do you need a Council President?
Not yet, no.
We don't need a motion on that.
We don't need him.
There's a motion to approve.
Council Vice President, you have the floor. Council President, you have the floor.
Yes, I have a few questions to the applicants before I vote on this. So, we have one issue in regard to the appointment of this position, and it's an item on Exhibit B that is on regard to this specific position to move the Office of Planning and Development Director from grade B to a grade 2 contract. So, councilors, it's important that we recognize that this is on table matters, but the intent is to discuss this in the future. So, with that said, I want to ask the candidate, is the position that you're applying, is it based on our ordinance, is a salary position? The intent is to receive a salary, or you are currently on their contract with the administration?
It's currently to receive a salary, Mr. President.
Okay, and the salary is a section, grade B?
As set by the rubric that's developed by the city and through the Collins Center, I believe. But I think that question is more appropriate to administration.
No, I'm assuming that you received an offer letter already.
No, I have not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I could just answer that he's on salary in accordance with the non-union classification plan.
All right, and what is the salary for that position?
His salary, the salary range is.
Right now he's at 100.
1 second.
Today, he's getting 100.
Salary range is 100,100 to 145,600.
And the intent is to actually have this position as a salary, as of right now, until things get changed.
Yeah, that's the current non-union classification plan, that's the salary. We
All
have
right.
a proposal, which is tabled at the council, to move that position to a contract position.
All right, that satisfies my question, and thank you, Madam Vice President. Just skip it.
Any other questions or comments, councilors? Seeing none, guess we'll entertain a vote. All those in favor?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we withdraw this item.
There's a motion to withdraw item 222-24 on the table. Is there a second?
The withdrawal, the discussion on that?
So there's a second discussion, Council President.
Question on the withdrawal, to be clear. If we withdraw this item, the administration won't be able to bring it for the next year because we are withdrawing it. If we withdraw without prejudice, and then the administration will be able to bring it up. I just want to make sure that the councilors knows about the difference.
I'd like to make this.
Council President, Council LaPlante.
I'd like to make this motion. I'd like to make a motion that we withdraw, but amend, provide a provision within the motion that would allow Mr. Matos to reapply for the position, not having to wait the year. He can reapply immediately. So that's the motion. We withdraw now and then allow him to reapply, should he desire to reapply.
The motion has been amended. There is a second. Any further questions or comments? It's, yes, Council
There is a
President.
second? Who
Did-
seconded?
second?
No, I didn't second that.
Oh, there isn't a second. My apologies. Can I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, clerk, can you do a roll call? Can you do a roll vote, please?
This is for withdraw.
This is to vote to withdraw.
Councilor Levy.
No.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
No.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Marmal is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes.
No.
Counselor Infante?
No.
Counselor Rodriguez?
No.
Motion fails.
Motion fails. Do you want?
No, you call the question.
Okay, at this point, there is a motion at the table to approve the appointment, the confirmation of appointment of Carlos Matos as Director of the Office of Planning and Development. There was a second. Is there any further discussions or questions? Council Levy.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question. What is the difference to make like this position by contract or just to keep it as an employee? What is going to be the difference?
Mr. Iannello, can you come up and answer this question, please?
I didn't quite hear the contract, of the question, but it was about a contract?
Yeah.
What's the difference between salary?
What is going to be the difference if we make it this position as a contract, okay?
Yeah.
Keep it in as an employee.
Yeah, and it's tabled at the council, so it hasn't passed right now. It's a salary, and you know what the range is. But if the council were to approve the amendment to the non-union classification plan, it would, the proposal is to allow the position for OPD director to have a contract. It moves it up into the non-union classification range with other positions that have contracts. And he would negotiate a salary with the mayor and some contractual terms of employment with the mayor.
So instead of taking the salary that we are offering right now,
Right now, the salary's set.
it's
so it
the salary
can't
is
change.
already set.
Right,
But
it
as
can't
it's
change.
become a contract, it's going to be
If the
completed.
council allows that, then it could be a contract would be that, it could be a different dollar amount in different terms.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Del Rosario.
To you, Counselor. Thank you for the opportunity. Just an ad. We've been throughout, since we took oath, we've been battling the mayor with runs, appointments or runs, hiring. Right now, we have a fully qualified person, and we nipping and picking everything they have to do with him due to the fact that some of us, not me, have a personal agenda, and we need to drop that. We have a person that's totally qualified for this position, totally qualified. One of the best resumes that we have seen throughout the year, sitting here as a council level. And we have approved employees that has less of the qualification that he has. It's people that been named in this administration with less qualification that he has. He's out here, he was out there doing the job, and the resume is talk by itself. He has the resume for it. Why we need picking? Why we need to go elsewhere when he's already here providing the service with a full resume to talk for himself? So we just need to stop that. Now we have a qualified person in front of us, fully qualified, to do the job. Why are we keep nitpicking on a resume of anything? So let's move on and let's vote for it.
Thank you, Councilor Del Rosario. Okay, at this point, I'm assuming there might be no. So, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for a vote?
Counselor Reyes?
Yes.
The motion at hand is to approve the confirmation of Carlos Matos as the Director of the Office of Planning and Development. Madam Clerk?
Counselor Reyes voting in the affirmative. I have Counselor Marmal noted as absent. Counselor Santiago?
No.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon?
No.
Counselor LaPlante?
No.
Counselor Levy? Yes. Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you, councilors. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Matos. So now we're going to old business. I mean, I have a confusion with the old business, but let's discuss this.
Just to send it to committee.
Because all business item 437-2024, which is the solar PPA and lease contract with the Solid Electric for 5 city properties and 3 school and 2 cities buildings. That's going to be sent to the Budget and Finance Committee. With that, now we're going to we have these new items.
These are the two table items. This one you already just talked about, if he was gonna take off the table, you thought you might wanna take off the table tonight. That's the non-union classification plan, and then,
No.
Ola has sent a lot of documentation on this, 121-24. It sounded like they were gonna ask to take it off the table, but I think Sue's gone.
Are they here? Susan, Susan.
Yeah, oh yeah, maybe she's here.
All right, we have item from the table matters. We have item 121-24, which is the appropriation transfer of $450,000 amount from ARPA free cash allocation. Susan, are you ready to speak about on this? No? Okay. So now we're going to all business. If there is anything that from the table matters that councilors wishes to remove from table matters.
Council President.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
No. Sorry, forget it.
All right. Any councilors that wishes to remove something from the table matters? All right, there is none, so we're going to new business. Item 121-24, which is the evangelical and community event at the common at the Companion Common, May 18 and May 21st, 2024.
They had asked if you could take that as an
They were asking us councilors to take this as an emergency since the date of May 18 is going to be fairly quick, that we're not going to have enough time. So councilors, I entertain a motion to consider this as an emergency due to the date too close to the next to this meeting. Councilor, can I hear a motion? As an emergency?
Second.
Properly second discussion, councilors.
Discussion?
For what purpose of the emergency? For the benefit of the community?
Convenience of the public.
Convenience of the public. All right. Councilor Plan.
Oh, thanks. So, do we know, before we even go through any of this, do we even know that the Campanion is available?
Yeah,
They did all the, so through you, Mr. President, maybe the clerk can give us an update before I take a vote on this tonight. Where are we on this process? What have they done? What's missing?
They
if anything?
did file the application through Citizen Serve as is required. They had met with Recreation Department, and they actually met with the Licensing Department also. There's a 2-week event or a 2-part event. They're gonna do the same community activities twice, but the first time they're doing it is this May 18th date, which you will not have your next meeting by May 18th. So at least with regard to the May 18th portion, but they'd prefer the whole thing just to be done, they were asking if you could take it as an emergency.
So, thank you, Mr. President, through you to the clerk. So, one of the things that if we do this, and we will, we're very accommodating. We always say yes, right? So we're going to say yes to this. I guess what I would like to do is when we do say yes to this group, what we don't do is that we don't keep track every year of the special times that we do it. What I don't want to do is come again next year when they know they need to get here at least 6 weeks before, something like that, so that it goes through the process properly. 2 months is ideal. Maybe we could put some sort of, I hate to say this and put more burden on the clerk, but some sort of tickler that says, you've already gotten the pass, don't do it again. Please, if you're going to do this, apply earlier. So
Right.
that's the only thing I would ask.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Councilor Plant. Any other questions in regard to this? At this time, I call the question to declare this as an emergency. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? The ayes have it. Councilors, what's the motion for item 121-24?
To approve.
There's a motion to approve.
Second.
Properly second discussion. I hear no questions at this point. I call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Any noes? The ayes have it. All right, we're going back to the new business. Item 22224, which is the request of hawker and bundling license for mass safe assessment program. This is going to be to the ordinance committee. This is going to be going to the ordinance committee. Item 22324, June 19 Art Awareness Festival at the Companion Common. June 22nd, 2024. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 22424, which is the installation of one JO pole on West Street near Holland Court. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 22524, which is a resolution honoring Dev Lacharet Tangai for 20 years of rededication of ball field event. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 22624, which is the handicap parking of 129 Bromfield Street. This is going to be referring to the ordinance committee. Item 22724, the authorization to fill enforcement prosecutor positions in inspection or service vacant for more than 6 months. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 22824, which is the handicap parking for 57 Sargent Street. This is going to the ordinance committee. Item 22924, transfer of capital revenue of $1,243,910. This is going to go to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 23024, the authorization to compliance with MA Clear Water Art Project. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 23124, Lawrence Police Superior Union collective bargaining agreement transfer approval for the amount of $540,000. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 23224, no parking on Lansom Score. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 23324, no parking on Blacksmore Court. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 23424, request and handling and paddling license for sale of flowers. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 23524, a stop sign on Osgood Street and Bailey Street, and this is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 23624, home rule petition establishing credible service for police and fire. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 23424, the request for loading zone at Hall and Berkeley Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 23824, 3K walk and cookout at the O'Connor Park on June 1st, 2024. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 23924, approval amendment of to the district agreement for the Greater Lawrence Technical School, including the April hangers. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 24024, the appointment of Caris Garcia as second assistant of the city attorney. This is going to the Personnel Committee. Item 24124, the appointment of Pascual Ruiz as a director of inspectional services. This is have to be added to the agenda, and 6 vote is required. So we need to declare this as an emergency to add it to the agenda, and therefore submit it to for a committee reference. Councilors, at this time, I entertain a motion to declare this as an emergency. Item 24124, the appointment of Pascual Ruiz as the Director of Inspectional Services. Can I hear a motion to declare this as an emergency?
So move.
There is a motion on the table. For what purpose?
For the purpose of serve the community.
For the purpose of that serving the community. Properly second discussion. At this time, I call the roll call, Councilor Madam Clerk.
Councilor Levy? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol is noted as absent. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
Yes, at this time we have it on the agenda, item 24124, which is the appointment of Pascual Ruiz as the Director of Inspection Services. This is going to be referred to the Personnel Committee. Councilors, now we go to subcommittee for next week. Ordinance,
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock.
Tuesday at 7. Personnel,
Monday at 7 p.m.
Monday at 7. And then we have housing. Housing, I said, who's the vice chair for housing? The vice chair. All right, we're going to entertain that meeting on Wednesday at 7. That's budget and finance. They have a lot of items, so I'll say, you say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday already taken, so Thursday. So Thursday at 7, and Councilor Marmol might be able to change it too early during one of those meetings, or perhaps 5:30 or 6 on Wednesday. So it's gonna be up to her. In the meantime, we're gonna just say that on Thursday at 7 p.m. for housing. Budget and finance,
Wednesday at 7.
Wednesday at 7. All right, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. different committees. Councilors, any other, yes, any other questions or announcements? At this time, councilors, we have, the council have been invited to for Saturday, May 11 at 10 a.m. To noontime to actually have a tour to the rail trail for that project that we're going to be discussing easement and so far so on, and many takings. So, councilors, if you wish to go, this is going to be on Saturday at Saturday, May 11 at 10 a.m. From 10 to 12 in the morning. We just want to make sure that everybody knows that. Also, yes, announcement.
Please, can you send the information like through a message?
Yes,
And sometimes we should send it to our secretary, to Teresa, so kind of, just to
Madam
invite
Clerk,
to
she
the
will,
outlook.
do you mind sending it to Teresa and to everybody?
Point of clarification.
Yes,
There-
Council
thank-
Vice President Infante.
Through you, Council President. Francisco Cirillo did send a calendar invite to all the city councilors, so it should be pending on your calendar. If you have not accepted it yet, it will still show up. So please look at your calendar for Saturday, your city council
All right.
calendar, and approve or deny the invitation.
All right, no problem. So we have that announcement. Also, as another announcement, we have on the ad hoc committee for the that is going to be discussing the two different options, the two different proposals we have for the school committee and Section 5 of the City Charter Amendment. We have received information from a school committee, Mariano, that she's going to be focusing on the search of the superintendent, and she's not going to be able to serve on that committee. Therefore, we have assigned Attorney Edwards to be part of the committee. She's here online with us, and I would like to make that announcement for that ad hoc committee. Councilors, any other questions or anything that would like to be discussed tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There is a motion to adjourn, properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.